everyone, ZedRunner DIY Detailer here. This is the Restore an Outback BBQ project. My tests of the universal replacement burners seems to have worked fine. What I now need to do is get the grinder out. I've been to the local car parts store called Halford's, and I've got some parts and bits. I don't think I'm ever going to need tape ever again. Couldn't find one reel. 2,500 grit wet and dry. You'll know why I'm using that in a minute. I have some etch primer, but maybe not enough, so I went ahead and got some more. Clear lacquer, that's only for the front, and a silver colour. It's Kia Bright Silver. That's the closest I can find to the control console colour. So we're going to use that, covered in lacquer, and we're going to mark it up with the green tapes in there. So hopefully that will work out well. So we've got a new gas cylinder delivered the other day, which is fantastic. That's off. They brought it straight to my door and even carried it right round to here, so fantastic service online. Check these out. 420 by 220. Okay, so all the griddles are jet washed off. Everything here is jet washed off. Can leave this out to dry now. I'm probably going to have to order a new warming rack. We do use it, so I will get another one. So the ultimate aim now is to measure this height from here to here. That's the level I now need to rebuild my bar when I weld the bar in. Likely the welding is going to pop the paint here, so I'll sort that out. Let's try and get this off now. Leave some purchase in there. I'll take this through. Yes, we can properly restore that now. Leave it out there to dry. Okay, so the next thing is, while everything's drying, I'm going to get my measurements, and then we'll set up outside, sand all this down, etch prime it, start painting. So I'm just going to give it a go with this sander first. Just take as much off as quickly as we can. Hopefully that works. So we've done all the sanding that we need to. A couple of coats of etch primer, let it dry, and then we'll get the silver on it. Just a fairly light coat to start with. Give that a couple of minutes, dry over, then we'll do a second. We'll carry on. This is Kia Bright Silver. It's like £5 or £6 in the UK. It's the closest silver I could get to the original Outback one. Didn't want to change the colours because the leg colours are probably matched or something. So I wanted it reasonably close. But, as good as it gets. There was another Vauxhall one, but measure now where our heating bars, our burner bars are going to be. That's easy to remember, 20. Right, we've got the flappy wheel now, so what we're going to now do is just strip as much of the paintwork off the inside as we can A, be bothered with, and B, reach. Now, if you remember, I needed a depth here of 20, and I've cut away this piece. So what I'm going to do is measure the height and then the length I need by putting in a couple of burners to get it roughly. Burner. That side and that side. You can see that we're well on. It's good. It's not perfectly square, but it just doesn't need to be. These burners can move a touch anyway. I'm going to put a fitting in here just to locate the burners. So we're really good. And the middle one obviously will just fit, so I'm going to tack that now, both ends, and I'll just get those. Hopefully that holds it enough. Let's try and weld it all up now. It's going nowhere. Absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to bother dressing it. I'm just going to get all the paint on here now. This is the stuff, stove and the barbecue paint. Let's see. Okay, so the objective of this was to get a few more seasons out of our barbecue, and I think it's worked. That stove enamel paint, that's now had 3 or 4 coats all the way around stove paint, whatever it's called, it's not necessarily enamel. I've done saturated all the weld areas. I didn't grind them smooth, so there'll be little bubbles in there that will eventually go, but you can see where it's not perfect, but that's not the point. I was just trying to recreate the gas support bar, which I've done, gas burner bar. The burners fit in and they work, that's at the right height. So we get our measure, so it's your 20, both sides. We could strip all this down and go at it again, but paint all that green, maybe. But let's get the masking off. Let's see how good it looks. Okay, so I've got my mask on, so if I'm muffled, hang on. So we could completely refurb the tray and all that. It's just a grease catch tray. Not going to put any money into that. There's a small hole here. So what we're going to do is just foil line that and foil line the little catch tray underneath. And just scoop it out each time. The point is, we now have a functioning barbecue. So when I put the bars on, I'm going to put a drill through, a small drill, and a self-tapping screw that'll go through. We'll give that a go. I think we probably have to do that now, really. And then I want to get this out of the way so that I can do all the sanding and stuff like that. Just get it out of the way now. So let's do the drilling first. Okay, so I've marked up a little area, so I'm going to punch a small hole through. Once these are on, I won't put it on the wet paint just now. We're going to have a small washer and a head so that we can slide it over and lock it in, so that in general use they won't fall off at all. Should be fine. I reckon these little self-tapping screws and the washer supplied will do the business. Let's see if it works. Perfect. So when I need to winterize it, I can just knock that sideways, slide them off, and we're done. Take all the burners out. Remembering to keep all these extra little burner holes up. There you go, that's it. The 3 burners are in, all correct length, correct setting on the air and gas mix, all with the little 3 top burners open as well, on the top rather. Happy days, very pleased with that. I'm going to close it up, wheel it back through and get on with the rest. So there we go, it's proper location. We'll sweep up and everything later. It's going to have the cover plate on once I've determined whether I'm going to respray it or just get on with it. Looks pretty good in there, for keeping it going for a few more years. It's perfect. Leaving this open just so it bakes and hardens. I'm now going to restore the wooden tray that sits here, and there's a little wooden tray that sits here, so that's the next job. Actually what I'm going to do is get the flappy wheel out on all of these, take off as much of this kind of ceramic coating, whatever it is called on here, because it's rotten through, and then I'll repaint with the stove and barbecue paint. Let's do that. decision really, is to key up the enamel coating here. This is enamelled. Obviously a lot of it isn't anymore, it's just rust. So we're going to key the enamel surface, get as much of the rust off as we can. We'll flip it to the other side to get into some of those little gaps as well. And then we'll stove paint it. Once that's hardened and dried, we'll then heat it in the barbecue to really bake it on, and we should be able to cook on it. If not, I'll order some new griddles. First one done. Next one. It's not ideal. Why is it windy now? There you go, those suckers are done. You're never going to get it beautiful unless you spend days and days and days on it or buy new ones. This is just about getting me a few more seasons, so hopefully when that really bakes hard we'll cook it up, get them really, really hot so that the paint on that becomes incredibly tough, and then in theory we can cook on it. So we'll try with some burgers and sausages and see if that works. But for now I'm going to set those aside and start working on the front panel. So here's our front panel. So I've got some green tape in here, and I'm going to do the little max min graphics on all of those as best as I can anyway. So let's get out there and work on these. Superior Danish oil. We're going to do 3 coats probably, and that will mean between coats we have very light rubbing down. The way you apply this is you brush it on, or you can use a lint-free cloth to do that, and then you leave it 5 to 10 minutes depending on the weather. It's hot today, so we'll just do 5 minutes or so. Then you wipe it over with a lint-free cloth. Just want it all over this. You can see what it's doing to the colour. It's beautiful. This will soak in a lot, this first coat, because this is some tired old wood. It needs this. Okay, roughly 5 minutes, let's wipe off the excess. So the next job, I'll just put this here for now, roughly in the centre. The next job is to use some of this tape to put some markers, like a minimum, then 2 little bars and a maximum here. That. What we're going to do is take a decreasing line. So we're going to try and do this cleverly. This may not work. let's just go for it. Okay, so this one's an experiment, the rest will be better. Let's just fracture that. They're turning out okay, I think. Max, you get the idea. Okay, let's hope and pray. In all honesty, these are just fine. They come out way better than I could have imagined. Just for a little bit of tape. The only slightly frustrating thing, we're in the corner there, I had to buy that entire tub of tape. That. I couldn't get one reel of green. Oh, that's fine. It's been a long day. Day 2 tomorrow. Hello everyone, day 2 or the final day of the Outback BBQ restoration project. Today we're going to wet and dry sand the front control panel, wire wool finish, or just knock back all the nibs on all the teak pieces, put a second coat of oil on the teak pieces and 2 coats of lacquer on the front control panel. So here's the control panel. We're going to get sort of 1200 or so on 1500 grit wet and dry paper and wet sand that all off to get it nice and smooth, to give it a good key for the lacquer to stick onto. 2 coats of lacquer, a light and a fairly heavy coat. The plan with that then is to leave it as is out of the can, or if it's not smooth and nice enough for finish, we'll then wet sand that and then machine polish it, but it should be good enough, to be fair. The other thing we're going to do on these, let's get my little light on. This has got a few little nibs and raised areas, so we're going to use the ultrafine wire wool, which is 0000 grade, 4 zeros. Wire wool that gently down, clean it all off, tack cloth it, and then get a second coat of the oil on there, and that should be enough. It's not going to give the sheen I think I want, so I may put a varnish on there in the fullness of time. We're going to do that to this piece and to the side rack piece. I'm going to peel these off. I can always recreate them if they don't peel off too easily, so I can sand properly. Thought ahead, really. Yeah, okay. That survived. So we're going to use 1500. The stickers back on. finer stuff. Just what we want. And just go over the surface. You'll feel it when it gets smoother. The sound changes a little. That's definitely necessary. Now we lift all that off with all the dust off with a tack cloth. It's just as well. It's like a waxed cloth, and it just brings out all of the dust, so you don't get any dust in your finish. See all that? That was on there. We could do a bit more work like that. We don't need as much as we had last time because the wood surface has got an oil coat on there already, so it doesn't need, it won't absorb as much, so this will spread a lot further and there'll be more excess to rub off. Let's do the small one first, the easy one. Let's see how much runny it is on the surface and how it spreads so easy. Let's get that done. Nice coat of oil, that side's visible. Protect that. There you go. Let's set that aside to dry. Let's take off the excess. Doing this also spreads more evenly the remaining finish. Here we go. Okay, so this is the third coat of oil now. Need to do another wire wooling on it. You can see little pin dots of shine on there, so I'm hoping that will improve now. It's not very good, that finish on this one, so with a bit of luck it'll look good now. Here's the side deck. That's looking very rich and very good. Let's go over to the front control panel. Not a brilliant job. You can see where the paint went on a little unevenly. Not overly happy with it, but in terms of a sort of shine and a reflection, you know, it's decent, and it's got a nice smooth finish on there as well, so we won't need to sand that back again. The decals are underneath the lacquer as best they can be. It did peel a little bit. I think this middle one lifted a touch. You see that's lifted a little, bubbled, oddly enough. But that's done. That's going to be, look alright. Much better than it was all blotchy and all ruined before around here. You remember from the beginning of the video. So now all we've got to do is piece it all together. It's raining out there at the moment, so I'm going to leave it, let this all dry off overnight. And that means that the paint on the front control panel will harden even more, the lacquer. So bonus, we're nearly done, really close to being a barbecue now. I'm really looking forward to seeing it built. Hi everyone, ZedRunner DIY Detailer here. We're in the closing stages now of our barbecue build. The final packages have arrived. Let's take a look. 2 packages today. Let's see. So these are the lava rocks I need. 2 boxes because you couldn't buy one, you weren't allowed to. So, hoping should be the lava rock tray or basket. Now I couldn't get a direct exact replacement, but the one I had was in 2 pieces. There's 2 smaller ones. This is 1 centimetre narrower, a fraction shorter, I think that'll make absolutely zero difference. Let's get it out to the barbecue, get that in there, get some lava rock spread out on it, the new burners on there, and we'll start reassembly tonight. Okay, so these are all the parts that are going to go on. We've got the refurbished grills. The grill looks just scrubbed over, it's okay. The refurbished control knobs, the completely repainted and lacquered up control panel cover, new lava rock basket, the repaired and refinished side tray, which is like a decorative piece really, and the side extension rack. So we're ready to go. Let's get this cover off this bad boy and make it look a lot better. So as a reminder, this is where we got to with the burners. So we have our 3 new burners installed. They've got the air tuned, so about 2/3 closed, to make sure that we get the right flame behaviours and it doesn't try and blow itself out. On full gas, got good solid behaviour. New welding bar in there, bolted down nicely. All the rust cut out, stripped out and repainted as best we can do. You can see it probably needs a little bit more of a coat, but it looks alright. Looks good. So first things first, let's get the wooden trays on the side and bolt this one in here. I suppose in the fullness of time we'll probably strip this all back and repaint it, but let's reassemble for now anyway. To tighten those right up, you're going to need something like this. There's an aluminium side tray that fits in here, but that, compared to what it looked like, really pleased. It's just a slotted arrangement, and those fit into here. Pins here, these legs fit over. These pins fit over these legs here. Dead easy. Let's straighten that up. So we'll take this back off and we'll straighten that up. Let's get our control panel on next. This edge hooks over the top here. So there are 3 little screw holes in here. These are the puppies we had to grind off, if you remember. Self tappers will do the trick. So let's put the control knobs back on. Looking good. Middle one. Buttons on there, and wood. Now let's get the lava rock basket, which fits in this side. Let's get that in. Before I unwrap it, I'll do a test fit. Just about fits. Well, it just about fits. It could go too far forward and slip down, but it's fine. That'll hold our lava rocks beautifully, so let's strip it out, open it up. go, it's just a simple steel jobby. And there it is, the new tray in position. That's the entire one of these boxes. The purpose of lava rock is to diffuse the heat from the burner, so you don't have focus hotspots on your griddles. So it spreads it out nicely. Furthermore, they act as little hot points for the fat to drip onto, and it sizzles through, and you kind of get that smoked taste as well, in theory. Or refurbished pieces on. Last item. So we're going to now run it for about 10 minutes and just bake it all on. So now the sun's gone in a bit of a better chance to see it. There you go, looks nice. So let's get the gas on and see if we can light this. So we've definitely got all the gas going. It really needs to bake in there. I'm pretty sure that's a really good thing to be doing right now. Getting that paint as rock solid as possible, while just baking for a little while. See all the gas going through there under the griddle plate. All under here. Looks good. Rock and roll. Let's leave that for 10 minutes. Can you restore an Outback barbecue? Yes. Happy days. That's that one. And that's that one. Awesome. Let's get the griddles back on. In for the full effect. How good does that look? All the tools ready. Got my spatula, my tongs. Okay, so our first test items: fresh pork and herb sausages. I'm going to go this side as well.